What's up, my school bosses? Welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all for joining me again. I know y'all been anxiously waiting on that part 2, and we definitely got that coming up. But I just want to say that it's a lot of us out here living through the same things. And unfortunately, it's not enough of us out here that willing to talk about it, comfortably talk about it, you know. But for me, at this point in my life, I'm like, why the F not? Why not talk about it? You know? But anywho, to get right on to it, I got somebody joining me tonight. I'm excited. So let's get to it. Special guest today, and that's my wife, my beautiful wife, Destiny. And I figured that she could show y'all, or tell y'all rather, her views on the love dare and the 5 love languages that she experienced from her point of view. So let's hear it.
Okay. So 5 love languages. I was completely intrigued. I mean, I heard about it for years and actually stole the book from one of my friend's house. And I started reading it. It was, because I didn't want to go back through the 40 days of the love dare. So I started reading that one. And then I started making Stephanie like reading, and I started talking to her about it because I'm like, this makes sense. I think there was so many years of her telling me like I don't love her the right way, or she wasn't getting enough affection or whatever, and I'm like, bruh, anything more you need from me, I ain't got it. Like, go find it from somebody else, because this is all I got. And after reading the 5 love languages, I realized that I wasn't loving her correctly. So I think her number 1 love language is physical touch, and mine is gifts. And so I remember like talking to her about like gifts, and she was just like, so I gotta get you a gift like every day. It's just like, so let's think about this. If your favorite one is love languages, so that's the one that you need the most. I mean, not love language, but physical touch. So do I have to touch you like all day? Like, is it an hour worth of time? Like, how does it work? Like, I gotta just touch on you all day, every day for you to be happy? Because that could be a little obsessive. So just working through understanding like what it means to provide that love language for somebody was influential on both of our relationship.
So
no, I don't need a gift every day, but I do like gifts. I just don't like surprises.
like, how did it, as far as you applying pressure to cater to my love languages, how did that make you feel? Like, what was going on with that?
Well, I think physical touch was like the biggest one. Like, I had to learn how to rub her belly more often. So, you know, it's one of those things where I just, you know, randomly give her a hug throughout the day, kisses here and there, and then, you know, if we're laying down in the bed, just watching movies and chilling, and, you know, leaning over there and rubbing on her stomach, or just laying on her, pretty much made her day. And, you know, we really started using the whole, how's your love tank? Like, is it full today, or, you know, where are you at today? I think it was beneficial to our relationship being able to tie those things into our day-to-day in order to make sure that the other person is feeling just as loved as the other person. I do feel like I can get some more gifts though. You can disagree with that a little bit.
Okay, and how'd you feel about the love dare? Like, what was the love dare challenge? Like,
I mean, initially, you know, I had no intention of reading a book, even though I bought it. I was like, I don't need this. She do. I got my stuff together. If she could just get hers together, then we'd be on a good track. But probably about 4 days in her reading, I was just like curious, like what is she reading? Because I feel like this is like some type of scheme. She's really, really into it. So, you know, curiosity made me go pick up the book and started reading it. And I remember reading the first day and I was like, oh, this is intriguing. And so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna put some energy into this. And probably by day 4, I was like, okay, I see some positivity within this.
I wasn't the only stubborn one.
Yeah, no. And I don't remember what day it was, but one of the days was like, if you're sitting here reading this and you're thinking in your mind about how this relates to the other person, I think it was about selfishness. There was like, you need to stop and then like take another look at yourself. And I'm like, who are you talking to? I don't appreciate this book talking to me like this. But it was eye-opening because that's one of the things that we do in relationships. Like, we're ready to point the finger and pinpoint what the other person is doing wrong and not really focusing on ourselves. And I think the love there takes the selfishness out of the relationship, where you're more so focusing on like, how can I be a better partner for the other person, and how can I be selfless in my thoughts and my actions and behavior.
Absolutely.
With communicating and living day to day.
Right. And you know, that, like I said, like I told y'all before, that love there, it was something for me. That picking up on day 12 and me having to rewind and go back and like restore some things if I was gonna make it through. Like that was my biggest to do. But like I said, overall, I made it through the 40 days. She made it through the 40 days too. You made it through the 40 days.
I did.
Did you?
Don't play. It's not an end all be all though. Like, none of these are like you read it, you take it in, and then everything is perfect in the world. Like, within the movie, the guy, you know, did his 40 days and then he started again. Like, on day 41.
I thought that was dope.
Yeah, but it's mentally overwhelming when you think about doing it like that. However, in truth, like, it's something that you have to continually do over and over again, because you get so lax in like the day-to-day and the complications of living, and you forget those notions, and you get wrapped tied in your emotions, and you're ready to fight, you're ready to argue, and it's just like, okay, now I gotta go back, I gotta figure out how to like reset my brain. And so, like, ultimately, I wouldn't say, like, oh, you just got to do 40 days for every day of the year. No, but there are times that you got to go back and revisit to stay focused.
For sure. And as I said, the love there started all of this. And then we moved into the 5 love languages and understanding each other on that level. Mm-hmm. And from there, it was just like the bigger picture. To look at what's the 5 stages of love. And, you know, just a quick recap of that, it was, you know, the 5 stages, the falling in love period, which a lot of us, again, refer to as the honeymoon period. And the second stage was becoming a couple. And it's that moment where you let your guard down and, you know, you guys get to talking about moving in together. That third stage, which I told you guys was the big one, which is a huge part of why my wife is here today, because I couldn't share that by myself. That third stage, that disillusionment, it's like you in a position where you questioning if you made the right decision to be in this relationship. It's the stage that a lot of couples don't make it through because it requires a lot of work. And again, like, it's a situation where you feel like you're being taken for granted. It's like all the chaos wrapped up into one. And it's just like, it don't mean you don't love each other anymore. But it's just that stage where more stress takes over your life, and it's just like you reevaluate everything. And it could be for the wrong reasons and sometimes the right reasons, but either way, it's a chaotic moment. Then stage 4, if you pass stage 3, which, like I said, a lot of us don't make it through, you in a position where you create lasting love. And then that stage 5, where you and your partner together finding something to call your own, something you guys working together to invest in and making it your own. something you can build off of, something you guys can eat off later. But that's that moment where you separate and you putting everything together, and you can be comfortable now. You know what I mean? But also understanding that you can get stagnant and not putting in that work, and you can end up back in stage number 3, which we have both lived. And, you know, so anything you want to say? Understanding the stages of love, like where we are now, or, you know, the hardest stage for you, like, or the best stage that we landed on. I think they both pretty obvious, but, you know.
Are they?
I don't know.
I like the rekindling. It's like, I think people have this notion that when you fall in love, like you stay that way forever, and that's BS all the way through. I think that people have to understand that in relationships you have to continually re-fall in love. That doesn't mean that the love was ever lost, or it wasn't genuine, or it wasn't love. It's just one of those things where it takes work. Like, you know, we fall in love because of all the extra things that are happening within the relationship when you're learning each other. You know, the whole courting process and all of that. Like, I think it's one of the things that people really do fail to realize is that work continues. Not just like, oh, you know, whatever you did to get her, you got to do those things to keep her. It's not always that notion. It's similar, but it's more like you have to put more effort into it. I mean, people, why I fell in love with you initially is not the reason that I continue to stay with you. I think it was Stephanie's brother-in-law who told us, like, marriage is a contract. Is that the way you said it?
It's a business arrangement.
It's a business arrangement. And I was listening to it, and I'm like, that makes sense. Like, you know, you can't go into a relationship and it's just like love, 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 love. And like, love is a piece of it. It's important, but it's not the end all be all. Like, people evolve over time, and you know, always evolve together. You may not even like the changes that people go through, but I think one of the best things about the love there is that it is spiritual based, and if you're Christian, it moves you in a different type of way, and it makes it known to you that it's important to have God as a presence in your relationship.
What about the angle of that stage 3, when that chaotic stage, where, you know, you're in a position where you're dealing with unrealistic expectations, and, you know, your partner making you the end all be all?
Yeah, no, like, find a life for yourself, because one person cannot be your everything. Your lover, your friend, your confidant, your best friend. They cannot be everything. We need to have space of our own in a relationship, because too much of anything is detrimental, right? I think that it's important to be mindful that people are different. I tell people all the time, like, it is important to learn to love the things about people that you can't stand, especially if you want to be in a relationship. Like,
yeah,
I hate the fact that Stephanie snacks. Like, you don't have to chew your food like that. But for her, it's like, that's how I taste my food, and I'm like, that don't make sense. But whatever works for her. You know, for the most part, I'll try to ignore it for a minute. How
do you feel about the unrealistic expectations I used to have for you?
I don't stop expecting anything from me is where I had God. Like, don't, please, by all means. If you don't have expectations of me, then you can't be upset. That doesn't mean that you can't have a desire for behaviors or actions from people. It just means that don't expect for me to be who you want me to be, and understand I am who I am. And I think that was the thing for her, well, for us, is that I needed to think the way she did. I needed to react the way that she felt appropriate, but I'm not her. I'm me. So yeah, sometimes you gotta take the expectations out. And I think one of the things in Love Dear, like they touch based on is that, stop worried about what they're doing and how they're doing it. Like even if you reading this book and they not enthused, not even trying it, like your goal is to do something that different for your relationship. The person will either never get on board or they'll jump on when it's their time. And that's what happened with us. Like she jumped in and I'm like, she got me messed up. I'm not.
Right. Divorce was on the table.
Oh yeah, no.
Like separated.
So done.
Yeah, because like I told y'all before, like very confrontational. I used to be a very confrontational person.
What's that?
Yeah, confrontational, controlling. What else? I mean,
controlling is probably the basis of all of it. Like needing to be in control, thinking that your thought process is the right way or the best way to manage the situation. And in all actuality, like he's not the king.
Yeah, I used to feel like he used to take me for granted, for sure.
And yeah, again, that's that BS. I didn't take for granted. Like that was never the case. But I'm not you.
I mean, where we are now, I mean, for me, it's stable. And I mean, I feel secure knowing that there's a mutual love and support between the both of us. I feel like, even with us still walking through this marriage imperfectly, like there's more initiative, there's more effort to think about the other than just factoring in ourselves. And that's the biggest thing because, like I said, you can't put in work and then get stagnant and not understand how you ended up where you ended up. And like I said, with the stages of love, that's a repetitive thing that could enter in your life because you never know what life is going to bring you. So you, along with another person, that problem, your problem is their problem and vice versa. So either you figuring out a way to, or learning how to work together to work through it, or you not. And in those positions, you either walk away or you stay together. And if you end up staying together and y'all made it through the storm, why not keep pushing? Why not want to relive that honeymoon period? Because, oh my goodness, that is that moment where, you still have those butterflies, you still have those moments where you just look back and you reminisce and you think about all the different things that you've been through, and you could just only look forward and feel hopeful about the future for sure.
I think the most important thing to learn from all of this is worry about yourself. Like I really irritated a lot of my friends once I started doing like the Love Dear and the 5 love languages, because I was like, this will fix you, this will help you, like do it. To the point where like nobody wanted to do it and they didn't want to talk about it. But I started, even with my sister, like she'd tell me like her situations and this person did this and this happened, and I'm like, but what could you have done differently? How could you have made this a simpler situation? And it's important that we start worrying about ourselves and the things that we can change about ourselves and stop worrying about how somebody else is doing it and why they're doing it and all of that kind of stuff.
So I guess take care of you first, worry about yourself, and then you're in a better position where you can contribute to worrying about your partner.